Hi there, Tammy here with Rainy Day Makers. My friend Sharon and I are partners in this little arts and crafts business. I hope you'll take a moment to like, share, and comment on this video. Also, it helps our YouTube standing when you watch our videos all the way through, and I promise to keep this one short. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and be sure to check out the Rainy Day Makers Facebook page. Today I'll be teaching my version of vintage pocket tags. You may already have all of the materials you need to make something similar. However, in case you need some vintage papers, some of the materials I'll be using are available in ephemera packs on Etsy at Spoozy Boo Co. in cooperation with Rainy Day Makers. Unless I've forgotten something, and with me it's always a possibility, these are the tools I'll be using today. So I have my Fabri-Tac glue, a hole punch, my Tim Holtz scissors, which are the best scissors I've ever had, a couple of clamps, my Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo, my blending tool. I made this little tool to ink in the middle of holes when you punch a hole. This is a little punch for hole reinforcements. My ruler, a scoring tool, a pencil, and a little template I made for cutting tag corners. So let me move this stuff out of the way really quickly. So these are the tags I'll be making. Okay, I just have a little pocket. You can just stick a little sentiment inside. This could say to from, or whatever you want it to say. There's lots of different options here. So there they are. I'll be using book pages, vintage wallpaper, and 100-pound cover Kraft stock. And I'm going to make two. And then these are the border wallpaper that matches the basic sheets, and a couple of ribbons. So I'll move that out of the way so I can actually show you this super cool wallpaper book that I was able to get. Hopefully you can see that it was from 1927. That is 95 years old. The wallpaper sheets themselves, it came with, oh my gosh, probably 50 sheets. It's very thin and it's very crispy. It also came with a border piece for each one. I would not use the wallpaper by itself. It's very fragile, but once you glue it down, it's just fine. So I'll move that aside and we'll get going here. So the first thing you're gonna do is to just ink up the edges. I already did it a little bit, but I'll do it a little more. Make it a little more, stand out a little more. Just ink up the edges of the border sheet, just the top edge for right now. Okay, so it just makes it stand out and stand out against your other papers, and it just gives it a nice vintage look. And we'll be doing the edges later on, so I'll set those aside. The next thing we're going to do, and you'll notice that I didn't have a paper trimmer there. That is because I trimmed the major cuts beforehand. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use my little template, and I'm going to make two tags. So I'm just going to trim those corners really quick on just the cardstock. Okay. So I get those trimmed off, and you know, they might not be perfect, but they'll certainly be good enough, and the little template always helps. Okay, so we've got that done. And the next thing we're going to do is to glue the book pages to the back, and you want the text to be upside down. All right, so I'll just use my fabric tack. This is my favorite glue, and I have it in a little sweet sugar bell bottle. This is actually like a frosting if you're making cupcakes, with this tip that has a really tiny opening, so you don't get as much glue on your project. Of course that would happen, so let me just poke it. I just did this, so I don't know what the problem is, but apparently there's some goo in there. Hopefully that did the trick. There we go. Okay, so I glue close to the edges because I don't want anything coming undone, right? So I just spread quite a bit of glue. And we just carefully glue that down so everything is lined up nicely. And I just smoosh down with my fingers. Okay. And again, you're gluing the text upside down on this tag. Okay. So, whoops. Squish that up a little bit. I guess the paper was a little bit shorter than the tag, so I'm just going to trim the tag off a tiny bit right there, and it won't really make a difference. Okay, so let's see. My next step is to glue the wallpaper to the front side. Now, if this had a top and bottom, you'd want it to be right side up. Okay, but it doesn't. It does not have that, so we don't have to worry about that part, but we'll go ahead and get it glued down. Like I said, this wallpaper is very crispy and thin, but once it's glued down to this cover stock, it'll be just fine. A little bit of glue there that I don't want on the front of or on the wallpaper page. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim the corners to match the sheet underneath. And I did this for the card stock first because I didn't want it to be so hard to cut. So that works out really well. Well, there's that one. And here's that one. Okay, get rid of that. So let's see, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make my hole. I'm just checking my little list. I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick a good spot for the hole. I want it to be down a little bit, and I'm gonna put that little die cut or punched reinforcement over the hole. Mostly it's for decoration. It really isn't going to reinforce the hole much. So, you know, down about, I don't know, a little more than a 1/4 inch, I guess. Okay, and the next step is to ink this up front and back. So, I don't know, this makes it look vintagey. I love the vintage photo color of this Distress Oxide. It just really makes everything kind of stand out to do this, and I just love the vintage look anyway. So we're going to do the back too. Just so you know, like around the corners, like this, I usually try and give it a little bit more than just the edges. Maybe it gives a more realistic look. I don't know. So there's the back side. Again, the text is upside down, and the front side. And really quickly, I'll go ahead and do this one. Okay, there we go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn these over, and we're going to take our 2 little pieces here, and we're going to glue them like this. So the top of your piece, your die cut piece, is going to be like this. So when this gets folded, it'll be right side up. But as you're gluing these on, they definitely look upside down. Okay, so let's just get some glue on these. Again, try to get plenty of glue on, because you don't want these to, you know, this wallpaper, again, it's very crispy. You don't want it to like flake off at the edges or something. So you want to use, you know, a nice amount of glue. You don't need to over glue, but you need to use enough glue. Okay. All right, just stick that down. Oh, I'll have to re-ink a couple places once I glue these down. Aren't these just such a cute pattern? I just love this wallpaper. It's amazing. I'm so happy that I have it. Okay, so again, I'll ink up those edges there. Okay, then I'm going to take my scoring tool and my little ruler, and I don't want to score on this paper because it's just too fragile. And even using this scorer, I'll use the fatter side, and I'll still be pretty careful about, you know, I don't want to rip this paper, even the text. So, but definitely it would rip the wallpaper. So I'm just going to do it right above where that wallpaper is. Just going to score it so that it folds easily. And you can do this on a scoreboard if you wanted, but it's such a small piece that I didn't think it was really necessary to get the scoreboard out. Okay, so now we're going to just watch how easy it makes it fold once you score it. So see, it just folds right over. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and ink up the bottom Be sure to ink down here too, okay? And I'll do the same thing to this one. Okay, so this is a very easy project. So now we're going to glue these edges down, and because the board is kind of stiff, I'm going to clamp them while the glue dries. So you just want to glue these two sides, okay? And again, you want to use a nice amount of glue because you want that to hold. Okay, so that's that one, and we'll fold it and put these clamps right on the edges. So that just holds it together really well. Can you see that? Okay, I'll do the same thing to this one. Thought I had another clamp here. Let's see what I can find. Let's use that one. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to get my little punch, and I'm going to use a piece of, if I can find it. Well, I wanted to use some scrap wallpaper. Oh, I know where it might be. It might be in my, here it is. It was in my scrap basket. So, as you can see, this is what I used before. So, I try to use it on some of the prettier spots. So, we'll try it like right here. There's one. And there's the other one. We'll set that aside. And then, very carefully, I'm going to ink the outside edges of these little reinforcements. Like I said, this is more for creativity than it is for reinforcements, because honestly, they aren't reinforcing anything. Through with the glue now. I'm going to use this little tool that I made for inking the middle of the holes. So let's see if you can see that. Well, that works pretty good. See? It works pretty good. Probably other like makeup brushes or something that might work better for this, but I had this in a drawer, and so, you know, it was just a foam paintbrush, and so I just cut it with a little point, and it worked out perfectly. So we are basically done. I think the glue will hold now. So I'll go ahead and take those tags off, or the clamps off. And look how cute they are. I love these. I just want to say thanks so much for watching this video all the way through. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out our Rainy Day Makers Facebook page, and check out Spoozy Boo Co. on Etsy. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.